So I thought the Ironclad was actually a pretty interesting potential release, only from the perspective of potential mini character gameplay. I mean, it looks great. I would buy it in game, but like actually acquiring the ship, I did end up picking the Anvil Liberator because I think I've kind of been intrigued with the idea of having the Prospector and Mule, like going out to asteroid belts and be able to do mining and salvaging within the same kind of time frame, and that just kind of is appealing to me. I may not just be that, but it may just be supporting, right? I just want a support craft that I could take other support craft with me, or mini carrier gameplay where I can go out and use support craft to actually assist. So that's more or less the kind of goal that I would envision. And so looking here, you can see. Oh, was not trying to play. So yeah, I looking here, I put a couple timestamps here, and I like what they have going here. I think it looks great, and again, it looks like a mini Kraken or a mini carrier here, the original gray box kind of concept. So of note here, this looks like maybe the 24, was it 24? And it was right above the 16. I think it's 24 SCU boxes here. So you can kind of see how wide it is, but the tanks really kind of give us the best scale. And so what I did is I recorded video of the tanks with a mule, because you can see back here, I kind of thought that these were probably mules. So if I go over here to 532, you see here, this appears to be a mule given the height of the person. It looks like a mule. I thought it might be an Ursa. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's cool. It's an Ursa. And it doesn't appear to be that because it appears to be smaller than an Ursa. And again, given the height of the person. So I put myself next to a mule and an Ursa, and I was like, okay, it definitely appears to be a mule. And you can see here, it almost like you could stack two of them. There's no railing here, but at least person-wise, you can kind of see. And so go back to how tall people are essentially here. So you can kind of see a person here. Can I get better? Yeah, I kind of like this one a little bit better. So you can see how tall this person is relative to like the scaffolding or kind of railing that goes along the outside, and try to judge. It's like a person and a half tall. And I'm assuming all the characters are about the same height. Same kind of thing here. You can see relative to the height. I'm curious to know how tall it is just from this perspective. And the only way to really kind of tell how tall it might be is really looking at the uh, part with the tanks. Here's another, again, look. You can see this height a little bit better on the person's height here, and there's quite a bit of space here. And so I originally thought that the doors would close and there would be no room, like the doors close like maybe under here or something, but now the doors appear to close and there's no scaffolding to be found. So if I go here, you can see the doors are closed and there's no railing. So it's clearly over the top of that kind of railing area. The doors will be closed. So the question is, and this is a tight fit, right? So yeah, I'm looking at this again. This part is not as open as I would hoped, because really, when I talk about the vulture, it's probably lucky to get one vulture to fit in here, which even that would be pretty cool because you can unload the vulture. I actually would like that better than the reclaimer, to be honest, because then I could fly in this, be out in the vulture, potentially have another ship that might fit, really small one, right? Maybe a Pisces rescue or something like that. Um, okay, next we want to look at. We already looked a little bit at the SCU boxes, but I have another. Actually, this is the same picture here. So you can see 24 kind of, again, this doesn't look like a 16, it looks like a 24 SCU box. So that takes about half, it looks like. So the two lengths of that in kind of the little bay area there. I know, again, it's concept, so it's hard to tell. Mixed with, we don't even know, is it actually going to allow us to do any of this stuff, like actually allow you to store and have ships that can fit in here. So this is a look at the tank portion. Let me go. Yeah, here we go. So you can see these tanks fit in here. You can fit four of them. So I was looking at the vulture, and the vulture is like a tank and three-quarters of a tank. It's not. It doesn't appear to be quite two. So a vulture would take up a significant amount of this space. Now that I'm looking at it again, however, this one is a little bit smaller. This repair area back here is what makes up the other piece of it. But honestly, the top of this doesn't appear to line up. I mean, it's angles, right? But the top of this doesn't appear to line up with the railing. It's hard to tell. Maybe it is, right? Maybe it just lines up. But the reason I say that is because it looks like it lines up better with the turret off, and this is the turret off, and there's still space above the turret being off. It looks like this is a taller tank, but it's not. Like the turret's been clearly removed. So I don't know. I think it's just interesting to look at these different perspectives and try to decide what could actually fit in here. So that's my quick look at it, relatively quick. I would like to see the ability to put ships in here. That's really the only thing that would really interest me. If you can't put ships in here, then I would just stick with using the well, if possible, using the Liberator. And I think the Liberator is supposed to be bigger as well, which isn't kind of back and forth for me. It's not that big a deal. And I don't know if the Vulture and the Prospect would be cool if they fit on the pads outside. It sounds like they probably won't because they're small or something. They're supposed to be in order to fit on those pads. Um, and maybe it's just the idea of having something like that that can actually carry those kinds of ships is not something that this game's going to offer, which would be really unfortunate for me. I mean, that's like I said, that's I'd like to build at least a Vulture or something and be able to take that out, and then also take another aircraft out, um, even if it's like a Pisces Rescue for assisting others, or I don't know. I think the idea again of being able to go out and salvage and then be in a ship that can have other capabilities would be nice. Obviously, maybe like a Kraken or something would be able to, but that's just too much. I want a smaller carrier gameplay. So I was trying to get a size of scale for the Ironclad. You can see the mule off to the side here. That appears to be what is in the kind of little vehicle area that they're referring to. I saw some Ursas. We have some Ursas that are over there, and I originally thought it was an Ursa, but they don't look. It looks like kind of the front part of the mule, and you can see by the size of my character that that's more or less because there's a character shown in there. So I think that's more or less what is being shown. And then we have tanks, obviously, for the reference point as well. And the interesting part of the tanks is you can see 4 of them in there, so you can kind of get a reference point here. I wanted to kind of put the turret close to the vultures, because ideally I want to get a vulture in this thing. And so you can kind of see from the turret here. Now, the other thing to kind of notice is there's a turret that's off of a tank in the maintenance area or the repair area, and that honestly looks like it's up enough that it could be almost in line with the Vulture's top there, minus that radar or whatever that's on the top of the Vulture. Ideally we cut that off, but yeah, the other thing, obviously this is a hill, so I'm sorry for that, but this is the best way to kind of get this footage together and get it all squared away. I was having some trouble kind of parking near the ice, and there was kind of graphical glitches around that, because that's the flattest area you can think of near Microtech. There's the ice field. But anyways, yeah, you just kind of see, this is almost 2 tanks long. Yeah, it's probably 2 tanks long. So, I mean, the Vulture's a bit longer than I expected as far as that's concerned. I mean, you can see if I were to back this thing up, I don't have a second tank. I should have bought another tank, but if I had another tank to bring out here, I would. It's not quite 2 tanks long. It's close to it, because you can see if I put that all the way to the back, the tank would almost line up with the, it already lines up to the front of the cockpit there. And so the question is are these arms as long as, are they half? I don't know. They're probably at least a third, if not more, of the Vulture itself. So, is the cockpit and back 2/3 of the Vulture, or is it's not more than that. It's definitely potentially less than that. So maybe a little over a third is just the arms here. So yeah, just kind of curious, because we only have these couple vehicles as a size reference, and the mule doesn't really help, and neither does the person. I mean, the person helps a little bit. Let me back up here, because how many people tall is this? Let me hop up top, and we can kind of get an idea, another idea how tall. Well, so me standing next to it, right? I mean, the ship's big, right? It's it's a relatively large ship. It's not a small ship, that's for sure. Well, let me go ahead up top now. My character standing up. I mean, assume all the characters are the same height. You can kind of see how much extra space is there. So this will be a bit of a point of reference too on the railing, or the scaffolding, whatever they have along the outside. But you can see here, this is the, those lights are too bright. But anyways, you can see here, this is a point of reference on potentially, you can see that person again standing on the railing, so they almost seem to be the same, the height between the railing and the top of the Vulture here. So the question is, can the body of the Vulture fit under the railing? Because then the remainder is close to what it appears to be will be left in the scaffolding kind of thing that goes, the rails that run along the top there. Because relative to my character height, minus this part up here, this part sticks out quite a bit. So that zoom out a bit here. No, I can't get that angle. Back a little bit. This part back here, kinda, I mean, it sticks out a bit. Anyways, I was just trying to get some capture of angles and some point of references on sizing to understand, is it really possible to potentially use it as a carrier? That would be pretty cool. That would be where I'd be interested in. I wouldn't really be interested in a cargo capacity. I think using as many carriers where I'd be interested, and I would actually be interested more in it over a Liberator. Well, that's all I wanted to share. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for those that have, again, liked and subscribed, and I appreciate your support, and I'll see you next time. Peace.